Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Roxana Garcia, and I am a Community Relations Specialist with the Public Engagement Division in the USCIS Office of Citizenship, Partnership, and Engagement. Welcome to our National Stakeholder Engagement Series, Tech Talks. I am joined today by several colleagues from the Digital Services Division of the USCIS Office of Access and Information Services, Leah Stewart, Quinn Andras, and Jana Evans, as well as other colleagues from across USCIS who will help answer your questions later in today's engagement. We incredibly enjoy engaging with you on our favorite topic, which is online filing. Before I hand it over to our experts, I will quickly go over a few administrative reminders for everyone in attendance, including the press and staff from congressional offices. Today's presentation and the information we are sharing for informational purpose is for informational purposes only and not legal advice. The information is intended solely for public outreach. This engagement is being recorded and we will publish it in the electronic reading room on our website. During our presentation, you may submit questions using the Q&A box located at the top right side of your screen. And now I'm going to hand things over to Leah Stewart. Thank you.
Thank you, Roxana. And thank you all for joining us today. My name is Leah Stewart, and I'm a member of the outreach team in the Digital Services Division. I'm joined today by my colleagues Quinn Andras and Jana Evans. We also have several subject matter experts on the call. In the Tech Talk last month, we reviewed the legal representative account and we shared best practices. Today, we will return to the legal representative account to talk about Form G28. We will walk through how you can use your online account to add a standalone G28 to a case that has been filed online or on paper. We'll go over some scenarios and show you how to navigate the process. But first, we're going to talk about the online access code because it is a factor in how to add a paper filed case to an online account. In many cases, adding the paper case to an online account needs to take place before a standalone G28 can be added. And as always during our Tech Talks, we will save time for your live questions at the end. So let's start off with a question for Quinn. Quinn, I know that using the online access code is going to be important in this presentation. So I think it would first be important, could you explain to us what the online access code is?
I sure can, and thank you, Roxanne, for the introduction. An online access code is used to link a paper filed case to an online account. There are some things to remember that affect how it can be used. I'll go over how to use an online access code for both individual and legal representative accounts.
Okay. Can we start with the applicant account? How does an individual applicant use an online access code?
When an applicant files a form on paper, they will receive two notices. One is the receipt notice. They will also receive a notice that looks like this view on your screen. This notice says, "We have created a USCIS online account for you." The user is asked to log on and confirm their account within 30 days. Let's zoom in so I can explain what that entails. As you can see, it says that an account has been created. The user finishes creating the account by following the directions on the left side. The user will go to our website using the address in line number 1 there, and then select Create New Account. There are several steps, which include setting a password, selecting a method for receiving two-step verification, and some security questions. And after that is complete, the user will follow steps 3 and 4 to link the paper case to the new online account. This is the page the user sees after they have finished creating the online account. They will select this box, Add a Case to Your Account. That can also be found in a drop-down menu on the home page of the online account. If the account has been used for other things, then those tiles won't be there and you use it. You find Add a Paper Case from a drop-down menu. The user will then be asked to enter the receipt number. They will also be asked for the online access code and their date of birth. Let's return to the notice with the online access code. You can see the code here on the right, and the receipt number is in the upper left. After the user finishes these steps, they'll be able to see the case card in their online account. They'll be able to see the current status and case history, and we will notify the user each time a new action is taken on the case. The user will then need to sign into their account to see notices and actions.
Thank you, Quinn. Can you also describe how this is different in the legal representative account?
I can. And Leah, let me just say that this is going to be, these are going to be a lot of details that are very important for the legal representative account. If a legal representative filed a form on paper, and it's one of the forms that we process electronically, then similar steps were taken and a notice with an online access code was sent. When the legal representative creates their online account, there's a step in the process of account creation where they can enter the code to manage their existing paper cases online. After that, if they file a form on paper, they must include their online account number to have that paper filing linked to their account. We've talked about that in other tech talks, and we have a slide later in this presentation to discuss it. And I know some of you are thinking right now, well, I've used my account number and it didn't link, but keep listening because we're going to talk about that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so wrapping up this talk about online access codes, can you share some rules and maybe some best practices, Quinn?
Sure. An important thing to remember is that this is a one-time opportunity. The online access code can only be used once. To put it another way, once the online access code has been used to add a paper case to an account, that function is no longer available. The online access code is valid for 90 days. If the user tries to use an expired code, the system will detect that and will prompt them to request a new one. If an online account has already been created, the user can still add an individual user can still add a paper case using an online access code, but only if the account has not previously been used to file a form or to link a form with an IOE receipt number. Sometimes users will set up their online account, but they haven't filed any cases in it yet. For example, if they're working with a legal representative and they're waiting for the rep to finish drafting the form, that account is ready, but so far it hasn't been used for an IOE case, and an online access code can still be used with it.
Okay. So Quinn, not all forms are available in the online account. So what if the user files on paper after the account is created and an IOE case has been added to it or filed in it? From what we've already said, a user can't use a second online access code in their account, correct?
That is 100% correct. An online account can utilize an online access code to link a paper case one time and then never again. In order to have a subsequently filed paper case link, a user must include their USCIS online account number on the paper form. It's also important to enter the A number, last name, and date of birth, and that has to be done consistently so that the information that you enter on the form matches the information in the online account. We recommend that users file online whenever possible, but if they have an online account that already has IOE cases in it and they file on paper, then they must include their online account number if they want that to link to their online account. Here's an example from part 2 of a paper form N400, the application for naturalization. There's a space for the online account number. If the user includes the account number, the paper form will link to their account. I have some notes about this for the legal representative account that we'll review in a minute. Leah, this is a good point to move ahead and start talking about adding a standalone G28.
Yes, it is. So let's talk about that. Can you start by explaining what we mean when we speak about a standalone G28?
So simply put, a Form G28 allows an attorney or accredited representative to act on behalf of an applicant for a specific case. I could quote the legal definitions, but that suffices to set the stage for what we're going to talk about. An individual can apply for an immigration benefit without the assistance of a legal representative, but they might want one later, after they've submitted the form. In those cases, the new legal representative must file a standalone Form G28 for each case they would like to represent the applicant or client for. After both the legal representative and the applicant signs and submits the G28, the representative-client relationship can be recognized by USCIS, and the legal representative can then have access to that case's status, upload documents and notices. They even have the ability to upload and respond to notices on behalf of the applicant.
Thank you, Quinn. What if the applicant had an attorney and is changing their representation? Is there a step if that's a factor?
Yes, there certainly is. That's a good question. If there is an existing attorney, the individual client must remove them from the case before adding a new representative.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah. Once the case is linked to the applicant account, either because the case was filed in the applicant account or was added using the online access code, the applicant must perform the following steps. On the home page of the applicant account, there will be a case card, and make sure it's the right one. If there are other forms filed in the account, there will be multiple case cards. Near the top of the case card, use the drop-down menu to select Case Actions, then select Withdraw G28. A yellow alert will appear and ask if the user is sure that they want to withdraw the G28. The user can then use the blue button to select Yes, Withdraw G28. Then a green alert will appear to let the user know that they have successfully withdrawn the G28, and now they can tell the new legal representative to go ahead and take the next steps.
Okay, so now that the case is in the applicant's account and there is no legal representative associated with it, what steps does the new legal representative need to take?
The very first thing, the legal representative must add the client. From the home page, they would go to My Clients and select the blue button that says Add a Client. So they'll select Add a Client, then they have to choose if it's an individual or a company client. And for our purposes, this is an individual client. Then they enter the client's name and email address. After they do that, there's going to be a green banner, like you can see now at the top of the page, letting the representative know that they successfully added that client. But I just want to make a point, and it's very important. If the client email address the legal representative enters does not match the one used for the client's USCIS online account, the representative will need to delete any draft forms in progress for that client, remove them from the representative account, and then add the individual again as a client to provide their correct email address.
Okay, so the legal representative has added the client. So what's next?
The legal representative would then go to File a Form, select the client from the drop-down list, then select Form G28 from the next drop-down list that opens, and then select Start Form at the bottom. The next page will be a search for the client's case. Enter the receipt number, the client's name, and email address associated with the client's online account. If this information doesn't match with the information that's in the applicant's account, the representative will not be able to add the G28. If the representative sees this error message that the case could not be found, then they should check the information entered, make sure it matches, and try again. And they might have to contact the client to double check. The representative might also get an error message because they tried to add a case that isn't one of the ones we process electronically. You can only file a standalone Form G28 online for these form types if the receipt number begins with IOE or MGL. And I wanted to make a note that the I-129 should be in this list as well. The form types are listed when you're searching for the client's case in your online account. You don't have to write them down now. After that, the rep will be able to finish filling out the G28. They can accept autofill, and the system will use the information in the online account profile to pre-populate the form. It's important to verify the information, even if it's pre-populated, to ensure that there are no errors that could possibly delay processing. The rep will page through and verify their information, and once all the fields are complete, they select Submit G28. Next, there will be a screen alerting the rep that they need to give the passcode to the client. The passcode can be copied and pasted into an email or sent in a text message to make it easier for the client to copy and paste the code. We encourage copying and pasting because it's harder to make a mistake that way. It's a long code. There are capital letters and numbers, and it would be easy to mistake one. So just copying and pasting kind of makes it a little bit more sure that you're going to get it. It's important to remember that you can look at this code again. It can be found by selecting View Draft. On the home screen in the Draft Cases tab, yeah, you had it. We were there. There it is. Yeah. On this screen in the Draft Cases tab, the representative can see down there at the bottom that the case is waiting for the client to review the G28.
Okay, so right after this walkthrough, we will recap the steps for anyone who's taking notes. But for now, let's move forward. So what happens, Quinn, with the one-time passcode?
The client signs into their own online account and selects Enter a representative passcode from the My Account drop-down menu at the top toolbar. If the client is setting up an online account for the very first time, they'll see, they will select Enter a representative passcode from those tiles that we saw on that blue screen that had the 6 tiles on it. The passcode is entered on the following screen, then Submit and Continue. The client will be directed to review the information on the G28. Then the client will either accept or decline the G28. The client completes the following electronic signature pages. Then they'll be brought to this screen where they will finish the process by selecting Submit G28. The case will be updated in the client's and in the representative's account home pages.
All right, so is that all for this particular scenario?
Isn't that enough? That was a lot. So let me show you the view in both the applicant and the representative account when this is all finished. In the applicant account, you can see this case card on the home page. It has 4 tabs. The last one is the information about the legal representative. Some case cards will have an additional tab for My Progress. The case card is where the applicant can find all the latest information about the case. They can see the case history, see the documents that have been submitted, and keep track of notices. Now let's look at the legal representative account. On the legal rep homepage, they scroll down to see cases. Toward the bottom, the rep can see in the submitted tab the case that was just added. If the rep chooses to view case, they will see the case card view same as the applicant has on their homepage. They'll never have not never, they won't have My Progress at this time, but they will have the same access to status and notices.
Okay, thank you, Quinn. That was a really great walkthrough of the process. So I'm going to recap the steps for you. So the starting place is for the applicant to make sure that the case is in their online account and that any previous G28 has been withdrawn. Then the legal representative adds the client to their online account, being careful to use the exact email that the client used to create their account. Very, very important. A lot of mistakes have been made this way, so it is imperative that you get that right. The legal representative can now file a Form G28, choosing the client from the drop-down menu and entering the receipt number of the previously filed form. The legal representative gives the one-time passcode to the client, who logs into their own account and selects Enter a representative passcode. The client reviews the G28, and if everything is correct, they accept it and they sign the electronic signature pages. They finish up by choosing Submit at the end of those screens. The process is now complete, and the client and representative both have access to their case in their online account. So Quinn, tell me, did I get everything?
Yes, you did.
Okay. So I'm going to give you a break, Quinn. And do we have Jana on the line?
We do.
Okay. So I'd like to ask Jana these next questions. So Jana, what if a legal representative files a paper case and it doesn't link to their online account? How would they know, and how would they gain access to the case in their account?
Okay, so this is kind of an evolving process. We continue to improve the linking of paper cases to the online account. You can take certain steps to gain access to the case in your account. Let's start by reviewing the G28 fields. When you submit your G28, certain data fields on the G28 need to be consistent both on paper and in your online account. So use exactly the same information every time. To ensure that a paper filed form links correctly to your online account, you must include your account number. We've heard from legal representatives who think that since they're filing on paper, why would I need to put my online account number on a paper form? But you do need to include it, or it's going to be very difficult for that case to link to your account. The account number and the other information on your G28 is how we kind of verify your identity and that we're putting the case in the right account. You also must enter your first and last name exactly as they appear in your online account. I can't overstate how important it is that everything you enter on your G28, especially those top 3 data fields, the account number, first name, and last name, they have to match what is in your online account. So for example, if in your online account you are, John Smith III, then your G28 has to be John Smith III. The system, this is all code. The code behaves the way that we tell it to, and it's looking for an exact match. So for example, if you're Jennifer Smith in your account, but Jen Smith on your G28, the system is not going to find an exact match because Jen and Jennifer are not the same. So that's kind of the rule. We already do have a couple questions about, linking, and that's the latest improvement that we've made, is actually simplifying the linking by focusing just on those 3 things: the account number, first name, and last name.
Yes, so I want to state the importance of Jana's research on this over the last couple of years. She is single-handedly responsible for discovering this mismatch issue, and we're so grateful to you, Jana, for doing that, because it's helped so many people and cleared up a lot of things. And rest assured that we will continue this quest. All right, so we get this question in our mailboxes, so let's make sure we go over it. Where can a legal representative find their account number, Jana?
Yeah, so the way to find it is go to your homepage, and there's a My Account drop-down menu, and you would select Profile. And under your profile, you can see the account number right there. So it's right there under Profile, under that blue button that says Edit Profile. The number is right there. And one unique thing about the representative account is the moment you create your account, you will have an account number. Whereas with the applicant account, they have to have a submitted case in that account before their account number appears. So that's where you get your account number. Make sure that you enter all the digits. I believe there's 12 digits. It could be 13. But like I just saw a G28, the case didn't link. The attorney had listed 11 digits correctly, and the last one was left off. So again, it's code. So it has to be exact and it has to be complete.
Okay. So tell us, Jana, why do legal representatives receive a notice with an online access code?
Okay, so I'm trying to figure out like the best way to make this very, technical concept more understandable. When an individual receives the notice that has the online access code, they can use it to create they can use it when they create their account or after the account has been created, as long as they haven't already used an online access code to link an IOE case or cases to their account. So Quinn had touched on this earlier. After you link paper cases to your account, the way that paper cases link in the future, they should just link automatically based on your G28 data matching your account profile. When you get one of those notices, it means that that case did not link to your account. So if you continue to receive many notices, that means that there's something about your G28 that is not matching your online account. You can only, like Quinn said, you can only use that online access code one time. And that's in the representative account. That's when you create your account. After that, the process works where cases will automatically link based on your G28 matching your account profile.
So, and you cannot use the online access code to link the case to your existing account because it's another account.
Yeah, so that's the thing, is that every submission let me back up. So for what we call e-processing or electronic processing, every case has to have a home. It has to have an account that it sits in. And the way that we determine which account we put it in is your G28. So it's kind of like, think of the account as like a mailbox. And we have to make sure that whatever label is on that mailbox matches the G28 that just came in. So that's how it's not like a background check. We're just verifying that we're putting the case in the right account. If we cannot verify it, if the system cannot find a match, it puts that case in a new account. So it's not in your account, it's in a new account. That's why when you try to link it with the online access code using your email address is associated with another account. You'd have to create a brand new account with a different email address to be able to access that case online. So we put in a big fix in August. We changed the code, simplified the matching rules, and we are seeing pretty dramatic improvements for those representatives who are including the account number on the top of their G28. We are seeing still a few blips, but if you include your account number, first name and last name consistently, hopefully your cases are linking.
Yeah. So, okay, then what can be done to link the case to the legal representative account?
They can use the steps that we just talked about, but let me review it in this context. All right, so the first thing is, if you're a legal representative and you received an online access code, that means that your paper filing didn't link properly to your account. You can follow these steps to link the case. The starting place is for the applicant to make sure that the paper case is in their online account. It would be there if the legal representative included the client's account number, or the client received an online access code and linked it to their account. The client needs to make sure that any previously associated G28 on the case is withdrawn. Even if it is the G28 of the current legal representative, it must be withdrawn so that there is no G28 associated with the filing. It's kind of like, starting on a clean slate. Would that be the right way to think about it, Quinn?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Then the legal representative adds the client to their online account, like we talked about earlier, being careful to use the exact email address that the client used when they created their account. Then the legal representative can file Form G28 using the client from the drop-down menu and entering the client's receipt number of that previously submitted form. The legal representative then gives the one-time representative passcode to the client, who logs into their own account and selects the option Enter Representative Passcode. The client reviews the new G28, and if everything is correct, they accept it and sign electronically. The client finishes up by choosing Submit at the end of the screens. The process is complete, and the client and representative both have access to the case in their online accounts. So that's a lot. We know it's a lot, but we really wanted to cover it because it's fundamental to your practice and you've been asking for it. I think we're posting a recording of this.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we continue to get questions about this, and that's fine. You know, people tune in and out, and sometimes they don't hear a certain tech talk. We'll continue to talk about these things.
So, what is the next step here, Quinn?
We give it back to Leah.
Okay.
All right. So let me pull up the questions. We do have some questions here that came in. Let's see. Let's talk about we had a question about an N400. So someone was asking, can you develop a sandbox for the online submission of the N400? They say they have students who are not experienced with technology. I'm sure that can be, common actually, and they need practice filling out the online application. Can USCIS develop some software to help these students submit their application online? I think I can take this one. If someone wants to post these links that I reference in the answer, that would be very, very helpful. We have several videos on our USCIS YouTube playlist, which we just created a playlist for just the USCIS online account illustrative videos. And we actually have one that specifically illustrates Form N400, as well as others that will assist with navigating the online account. So if you haven't done it already, because I cannot see the chat, please include both those links for the people that we have here so they can access them directly. So the next question, there's a question that asks, I created my online account when doing H-1B lottery registration a few years back.
You can go ahead and ask that one.
Okay, all right. So I'll throw it to you, Quinn.
Sure.
All right, okay. But since then, I always enter my account number on applications I submit, but they never show up in my account as being one of my cases. So when submitting an expedited request, I'm told to upload the supporting documents. The clients who establish their own accounts obtain requests for evidence on their cases from their accounts weeks before I get them, since RFEs are sent by regular mail. So how do this person would like to know, how do they fix the problem?
Okay, when I saw this question come in earlier, I thought it might be related to a quirk of the organizational accounts that you have to establish that attorney-client relationship every year. We're not going to assume that the relationship has endured to the next H-1B cap season. And I found out last year when I was representing the account like this to our stakeholders that the legal rep and the client would have to go through the invitation process again. And I thought at first when I read this question that it might have something to do with that, but if there's another SME on the call that wants to add anything or has another idea, then I'm open to that. But I think that's what it's related to, is establishing the client or company account with relationship with the attorney by the invitation process.
Okay, great. Thank you, Quinn.
Hey, you're welcome.
And then the next question is, the last Tech Talk, it was discussed that we could not highlight documents in paper filings. I assume they were talking about highlighter, using an actual physical highlighter. Does the same go for documents we have attached for filings online in the USCIS online account? What do you think, Quinn?
Well, the whole reason you can't use a highlighter when you send in a paper form is because when it goes through the intake process and it's scanned, any area that has highlight on it has a blank. It looks redacted. You can't read anything that was there. When you upload a document to your online account, it's not being scanned. So if you had something that was highlighted, it would just upload. I still wouldn't do it because I've seen documents that were uploaded before that have highlighting, and they have usually the shading. When you go through document to PDF to upload, it becomes more and more illegible every time it passes through process. So if you need to draw attention to something that you're uploading, draw a circle around it or draw an arrow toward it, but do not ever write over it, including with a highlighter.
Yep, good advice. Good advice. Now, the next question we've already talked about, but I think it bears repeating. Where do I find my company's online account number so that I can list it on our paper form I-907? What do you think,
Sure.
Quinn?
No problem. When you have a company account and you go to the top toolbar, you will see like two places for a profile. One will be the company profile and one will be my profile. You want to go to company profile, and the information that you're looking for is in that drop-down menu.
Great, thank you.
You're
And
welcome.
I'm sure that we already covered this one too, but let's repeat it again because it's important. We really want to send people to the right resources for references. Not everybody's going to remember every piece of information, but are these sorts of videos available on YouTube for reference? Go ahead, Quinn.
Let's all talk about that one, because the answer is yes. Usually, if you use a search engine and you just put in YouTube, USCIS, it will give you a link that goes straight to our YouTube channel. And the very first thing you see is the president's message to the new Americans. And if you look at the toolbar on our USCIS YouTube channel, you'll see that there's a selection for playlists. And go to playlists, and Leah, do you know, is it the first one, the second one now?
It's the fourth tab over.
Fourth tab over, playlist. But then the online filing videos, I think is it the first group?
Yes, first group in the entire set.
There you go. The very first set of videos are for online filing, how to create an account, how to change your address. I think we're about to go live with the how to respond to an RFE. Is that right?
I believe it's change of address.
Change of address. Leah, you know better than I do which ones are on deck to go up next. But you can probably find what you're looking for there, including our videos from the H-1B cap season that we just had, where we talked about the company account and the legal representative account in the H-1B context. There are going to be some new features for that in the next H-1B season. But those videos, all we're going to do is update those with the new features. So that information is still solid.
Yes, and I believe there's 8 videos. There should be 2 more in the next week or so. So check that out often, because we're always adding new videos to help you navigate the online account. All right, so regarding the name match for linking paper-based cases, what about the representative's middle name? Is it required? Can it be on the paper-based filing and not in the online system? And then again, vice versa. Jan, I think you're best to speak to this.
Yeah, absolutely. So we do get that question fairly frequently. The middle name is not a data field that we match on for linking a paper filing to the online account. So you can include it on the paper G28 or not. It doesn't matter for the linking. If you, I would encourage you to, be consistent with your G28s. Don't change the top portion, which is your legal representative section, from client to client. That's just kind of an opportunity for data to be kind of, modified, and that can result in mismatches where you're going to start getting that account notice and your cases are not going to link to your account. So, put your account number correctly, your first name, last name, address. For the bar jurisdiction, you can just use the 2-letter state abbreviation. You don't have to write Supreme Court of, whatever. The system cannot read Supreme Court of Massachusetts. Just write MA. It's fine. And then, of course, your bar number. The three fields it looks at first are account number, first name, and last name. So if you want to include your middle name, that's fine. If you don't want to, that's fine too. It doesn't matter. It has no bearing on the matching.
Okay. So I think we have time for one more question, and it's about the G28. And Jenna, I think you might be able to help with this best. The question is, as clarification, can I use the Form G28 to represent my institution, even though I'm not an attorney? So to be clear, their office files all I-129 petitions.
I don't believe that you have to be a legal representative, either an attorney, licensed attorney, or an accredited representative with an organization that's recognized by the Department of Justice in order to be able to submit Form G28.
That's absolutely right. And a legal representative uses the legal representative account when they are working on H-1B filings, the I-129, the registrations, and all of the other like expedited requests, things like that. A company does not have a legal representative account, and they do not have an option to submit a G28.
So I want to draw your attention to the online account helpful links that's on your screen for account sign up or login page. You can log into my.uscis.gov or uscis.gov. Help with account creation. It's uscis.gov/file-online. For technical support for things such as password resets, account lockouts, getting a new online access code, updating your PIN delivery method, you can access the Need Help URL that you see there. If you'd like to send us feedback, you can do that at this email box, USCIS feedback, all one word, at uscis.gov, and also at our public.engagement@uscis.dhs.gov mailbox. So thank you all for joining us today. I'm going to turn it back over to Roxana.
Yes, thank you, everyone. Thank you, Quinn and Jana and Leah. And as always, as Leah just stated, we welcome and are grateful for your feedback. You can provide it by emailing us at the emails that she just provided. I'll repeat again, USCIS feedback, one word, at uscis.gov and at public.engagement@uscis.dhs.gov. And as stated earlier, we will publish this presentation in our electronic reading room on our website. Again, thank you for your time and have a wonderful rest of the day.